Today's science class is the official start of our Sources of Energy research project, in which we're going to explore, research, and report our findings to enhance our learning on the different types of energy and the development of new energy technologies in the world. In Chapter 13, we learned all about the different sources of energy, and we learned that energy is vital for survival and making life comfortable. Developing new energy sources will improve modern standards of living. Our goal in our project is to research and learn more about what is being used and developed today to make sure that we have sustainable energy sources in the future. Your assignment is to do these three things. First, gather information by going out and using your Chromebooks to search the internet based on what you have chosen as your topic. You can use your textbook as the beginning starter because there were information shared about the different energy resources that we read about, and then you can use your Chromebook to enhance that by looking into the different type of search engines and search techniques that we've talked about to make sure that you have a quality source and you're getting good information. Next, you're going to create, and I have PictoChart as the example here, but you have the option to choose between PictoChart, a Google slide presentation, a paper. I have another one on here that I wanted to introduce you to, and it's called Adobe Spark. You can go to the Adobe Spark page and click sign in with Google, and it'll allow you to create different types of projects. Some of the things that they allow you to create are an Instagram story, Instagram post, a Facebook post that looks really professional. This a lot of times is used by different businesses for advertising, but we would probably be leaning towards making a presentation or a slideshow with what they have as their presentation tools. Now, if you're not familiar with Adobe Spark, it might take a little bit of learning. You might have to go to YouTube and watch some tutorials, or if you click this little Learn tab down at the bottom, it'll show you kind of how to go about creating something that is visually appealing, that provides that information that we're looking for. If you go to PictoChart, again, you're going to click sign in with Google. It'll bring you to a page that looks like this, in which you have the options on this left hand side to choose what would be the best way to share your information. Your best bet is to click on infographic or poster, and either one of those is going to provide you with a ton of blank templates like this that can be filled in. Now, some of them come with already the colors picked out, the fonts picked out, and all you have to do is add information and obviously change some of what would be the pictures or the graphics on those pieces, but they already have the nice theme. It looks really professional for you to be able to do that. I like the infographic option the best just because it has the good blend of what would be information and also the opportunity for visuals. Like this one has, you could put pictures in and then you could have the text in the different areas. I like the infographic the best for the project that we're thinking about doing and how we would share information. When you would do this, there are some of these that are considered under pro use. You don't want to use the one under pro use because they're going to ask you to pay for that service. You have the option as a free user to use up to 5 of these as an example. So I'd like you to get started and just use one of those. Being that you're maybe a first time or second time user of PictoChart, it obviously isn't going to cost you unless you're going to choose one of these that says Pro. So you're looking for one that is free to use, and you should be able to kind of learn and understand how you would go about manipulating those things. That's going to be on you to create the information itself. Most of you are familiar with Google, which you would go to your Google Drive, open up slides, you would go to the themes portion and click on a theme that you would want that creates a different type of text and font and color, and then you would go about creating the different slides that you're going to need. Here's the information regardless of what platform you choose to share your information on, what we're looking for. You want to share what it is that you've researched, define that energy resource, and explain how it works in detail. Then you're going to have some type of drawing or visual representation. If it's a PictoChart or an Adobe Spark presentation, it's probably going to be something that is more of a visual in terms of a graphic. If it's a Google slide, here's where you'd have the option to add video. Next, your slides or your spaces on your chart, your Adobe Spark presentation are going to have the advantages or positives to this energy resource and or the disadvantages. You should have both. We should also think about why it is that this resource isn't being more prevalently used today, or what is the future of this resource. Some of those resources that you have to choose from might be the fossil fuels that we've talked about, such as coal, oil, and natural gas. Are some of these resources future looking like we're going to use less and less of them? And then are some of these others, the hydroelectric, geothermal, wind, solar, and tide energies, things that we're going to use more of in the future? So kind of give me the advantages, disadvantages, and what the future landscape looks like for those energy resources. Lastly, What I want you to think about is how you would go about sharing and presenting this information to your class. Right now, our main focus is research and creation. The last portion would be sharing what we have proudly created and learned with our classmates. Again, using your textbook resource and then using your Chromebook. When you're using your Chromebook, remember that we want to be able to cite those sources, so keep track of the websites that you go to in some way, shape, or form. Either copy and paste them right to the slide or to the notes on the actual slide. Mr. Shane has some links here that would show you kind of how you would do that, or the links that you can actually use to do some of that investigation. So those links still work. You can click on that and it can take you to, like this one, a government website that talks about the ways in which clean energy is maybe the future of how we want to produce and consume energy. Last thing, again, for that Piktochart, Google Slides, or Adobe Spark presentation, you're going to select a theme, give me the title, topic information, and then input graphics and images. If you're writing a paper, you're going to have at least 3 to 5 informative paragraphs detailing what you learned in the format of this description. What is it? Give me details and explanation. List out how it works, and then give me the advantages and disadvantages. So that right there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 paragraphs, just in that format of what you're looking for in actually written form. And I shared with you on Google Classroom different examples of students' papers that have been written in the past, so that you have a way in which you can see what that looks like. Here's an example. Mr. Shane created a slide. I did a little bit of research into tidal energy and the future of tidal energy, and then I found a really informative video that talks about the ways in which these tidal energy turbines are actually being created, and then how they can generate electricity for tons of homes in these areas that are close to the ocean that have a huge fluctuation in the tide. Just an example of what one of those slides would look like. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, this time for science class today should be spent getting something started. Get the groundwork going on what you want this to look like. If you're comfortable using Google Slides, I'd like to see you take it to the next level and make something that is really, really professional, that's done really, really well with a great theme, great information and graphics, and the font. All those things look great. If you're interested in challenging yourself and trying something new, then I suggest using Piktochart or Adobe Spark, one of these new platforms that is kind of relevant to today in terms of social media and business and being able to communicate ideas and create something that's a valuable tool in the workforce today. Dive into something like that that's new. Or if you're better at expressing yourself through written language and understanding, go ahead and get started by writing that paper by using your traditional Google Docs right here. Okay? Those are your options. Feel free to get started. Let me know if you have any questions. God's blessings.